Hi everyone, this is Eric from Dumb Game Dev, and this is part 2 of our RTS control style for Playmaker. And in this section, we're going to look at getting a little more fine-grained control by using the control key itself on the keyboard, or I guess that's a command key if you're on a Mac. I'm not a Mac person, so you let me know. We also want to be able to sort of deselect everything by clicking off of them. And I think that's it for this part. So let's get started. It's not that much, more than what we've already done. So if we're looking at each instance of the cube here as a prefab, we need a method to sort of mass unclick everything. So if we're clicking into the null, we want everything to be unselected. So we can create another custom event for this. And I'm just going to call this Unclick. And yes, we're going to break our prefab, and then make sure you click it as a global event. We want to be able to globally access this. And I'm just going to call this state called do unclick. We're going to add this a global transition called unclicked. And what we want to do is force this bool we've created is selected to be false. So in our actions, we're going to choose set bool. If we just want to set a value, we always just type set and then whatever type of value it is. So in this case, set bool value. And is selected, we want it to be false, right? Then we're just going to add a finish after this because we want it to finish right away. And I'm going to be a lazy person. We need to change the material again after we click it, right? And so we can just use this check here. See, it's already testing to see what material we should use. So I could just be lazy and say, okay, when we're finished, go over here and check which material we should use. So let's save this. Go to the inspector and apply to all. Let's go back to our camera where we have our main FSM that controls this, and say, okay, if we click something that is null, if we click a null game object in the scene, we want to do something which is send an event. Why am I typing it up there? That's the wrong place. I want to type it in the state. Send event. I'm just going to call mine maybe clear, because we're going to clear all the game objects. Okay, so now here we're going to type send event. And we're not going to send it to ourselves. We're not going to send it to one game object. We're going to broadcast it to all. We're going to say, hey, everybody, listen to this event. And the global event that you all should listen to is called unclick. Okay, and we'll add a transition finished. And then once that's done, we'll go back and wait for more mouse clicks. Save this scene, push play. I want to make sure this works before we go any further. Okay, so that's still the same, but we want to make sure that if we click into the null and void here, that in fact, yes, bam, everything unclicks. Okay, so the next step is we just want to be able to select one cube at a time unless we're pushing down Control or Command, and then we can multiple select. Otherwise, we're going to be accidentally multiple selecting all the time. And this is up to your game. If you don't want to do this, that's cool, but I'm going to show you how to do it anyways, just so we've got that idea. So we're going to manage this from the main camera. And let's see here. The first thing we want to check not is if the mouse is down, but if the control key is down, because we're going to hold the control key down and then, click down the mouse. But I also want to add a right mouse click. So let me do that first. Let's just say get mouse done, paste this in, choose right, and say right down. And when the right is down, I just wanted to clear everything as if I was clicking into the null and void. So now I have two options. I could click nowhere, or I could just click the right mouse button to clear everything, because that's, sort of a nice fast way to clear everything consistently. Okay, now that that's done, now let's check the control. Okay, so we're going to need a new event, and actually this new event is going to be our start state. And I'm going to call it control check, although that's not necessarily what it is, but we'll add a transition, set a start state. And you know what? I'm going to be more lazy. Let me copy and paste this one. And I'll show you why in a minute. So let's set this as our start state and just delete this. So now we have two of these that are exactly the same. Okay, so this is a more accurate description. If somebody just throws down the left or mouse right key, we want it to work if we're in whichever state, right? But it's going to be slightly different. So if we throw down the right mouse key, it will always clear no matter what state we're in. If we throw down the left without control, we just wanted to have, say, like a single selection, right? Okay, so maybe this will make it more clear. So okay, if we're going from here, we're checking is the control down yet, and if we're here, control is down. So we need to transition between those states. So just bear with me for the moment, then hopefully it'll make more sense. So we want to always be checking if the key is down. We don't want to send an event, like these ones send events. We just want to always be checking because people might be holding the key down, and we want to see if it's being held down, right? So what key are we checking? We're going to check the control key, and it's way down here. Left arrow. Okay, so here we go. Left control key. So if the left control key is down, I'm going to say control down will be the name of my variable. And we want to check this every frame to see if the control is down. Then we're going to do a bool test to see if it's down. Because it doesn't have an event, we need to move it to the next state in some way. So if the control is down, I'll make a new event called control it's a horribly ugly named variable, but control is down. If it's false, make sure we do every frame. If it's false, we just want it to stay here. We only want it to move if control is down. So if control is down, we want to go here, right? So this is mouse click and control is down. This is mouse click and checking for control. Okay, so now we need to check to see if it should go back to the state if the control key is up, right? So we want to check for key. Same, we're going to get key, so we can just copy these. So we're just going to do the opposite though. So we paste these in here, and we're going to see is the left control down, store the result, and this time we're not looking for true. We're looking for a false, so we'll call this control is up and check this every frame. Now we're going to go back up here. So let's just test this out here first, just this to see if the control key is working. And to that, I'm going to lock this FSM, hit play. Okay, now I'm going to push control. I'm going to let go, and down, and let go, and down, and let go. Okay, so now if I'm holding control down and click my mouse, it will move out of these mouse states. If I'm not holding control, it will move out of here. So let's try the left button, or sorry, the right down, and you can see it fires into the clear event. If I let go of it, it will also fire into clear event. That's what we want. We want the left mouse button to do something different, but we want the right mouse button to be doing the same things. Okay, so that's good. Let's see. If the control is not down, we wanted to only be able to select a single object at the time. So the first thing we want it to do is clear any past objects before we select a new one. That way, no matter what we have selected, it will clear them all and we just select one. And we know how to do this. We can just use this clear event. So why don't we copy and paste this up here. So when we click the left down, it's going to clear everything. Then, you know what? We want to pick the same thing here. We're going to pick and then check if it's null, send event. Yeah, so why don't we just borrow this? The only difference is here, first we want to clear everything before we pick it. Let's save, push play. Okay, so clicking here, clicking there, we can clear everything. We can right click to clear, that makes sense. And now if we click one at a time, as you can see, we only click one at a time. Okay, phew, we're sort of halfway there. Now we need to set up the control click. And how are we going to do that? So we don't want it to clear everything. So let's just see what happens if we choose this one here, because it's not clearing everything first already. So clicking 1, 2, yes, that works. So now I'm holding down control, clicking, and that works exactly as we want. And if I right click, it will clear all. Perfect, so that's exactly what we want. We have everything we need just like this. And you know, we could add colors to these. That would probably make it easier. In these tutorials, I'm just sort of blowing through it a little bit faster. You know, so for example, the red ones could be clear events. The send events could be blue. You know, the null checks could be yellow because it's a possible warning situation. And you know, you could go through and set them up like this to make things more helpful to see. Okay, so there we go. I'm going to save this, and we're going to go to the next lesson. In the next lesson, what we need to actually do is add these to an array. Because right now, we're just clicking them and activating them and deactivating and turning a color off and on. But we're not actually adding to them to any kind of list, so we can't actually do anything with them yet. But we're just about there, so I'll see you in the next lesson.